Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond the Box. And Chad, yeah, you're echoing. You might have to mute. Um, I was thinking about this. We should have done this Saturday night, not Friday night. I think everybody's going to probably be over in PRT's chat, so it'll take them a little while to get here. So that'll be okay. Hi, Denise. Um, so how are you today, Susie? How you been?
Very good.
Very good. No hard work today. That's it. What? What did
Just
you
a
do today, Susie?
well, I did burn a fire.
Were the
You know
fire
me and my
department
fires.
called? Yeah, usually the fire department's involved in that. How
No, we
was it
had a
today?
had a lot of rain, so it was really wet out there. So I had one little pile I had to burn. So it was pretty good.
Oh, well, that's good. Sherry, I'm glad you're here with us. How are you?
Doing better. I just, my mom's been in the hospital, but she's getting dialysis, and so she's doing better, which I'm doing better. And plus, I have a temporary seasonal part-time job. That's hard.
Ooh,
Working in
yeah.
a warehouse, sending out goodie boxes for people that order all this stuff. Come to find out, one of the pies was mentioned, a pecan pie, in the New York Times. So now more people caught on and starting to order them.
The pecan pies.
Yeah, from a
Nice.
small group called Zingerman's that was started like a little sub shop, and now they've just grown into a bread shop and mailing order and food and all this other stuff. So
Hmm. And Mr. Chad, unmute yourself and tell us how you're doing.
I'm doing good. I've been in California for a little bit, so just enjoying the little change of atmosphere. And went up into the mountains, did some Christmas tree, farming or whatever you want to call it. We borrowed a Christmas tree from the mountaintop, and then got some lights on it and stuff like that. And that's going to go for a sibling of ours that passed away. So we're going to put that on Main Street downtown, and I won't say where, but and yeah, it's just good.
Good.
Yeah,
Good,
I was
good.
glad to have some sunshine the other day. That was for sure.
I need some of that.
Yeah.
So, tonight, guys, we are going to be doing a show on vampires and werewolves. Do they walk amongst us? Are they just fairy tales? Are they breathing, living, you can touch beings? Or are they spiritual beings? Holy crap, scared the shit out of me.
And are there vampires in space?
Well, you know, Susie and I, it's well known, we're flat earthers. So to us, outer space is over our ice wall.
More like inner
So,
space.
yeah, we're inner space, they're outer space.
We're in our space.
Yes. Yeah. And so do I think that there could be some outer space? Sure. But I also think it's like Bigfoot, how they have that they're interdimensional. They use portals. There are some that live around that will tell you that they're a vampire, I guess, because vampires, modern day vampires, don't have to have the teeth and bite you now. They just hire people to take their blood.
Chop you up and eat you.
I'm just saying, this is what they say, not me. So, but you have got some stuff on that, right, Chad?
I hope so. I mean, this is one. Yeah, you got to kind of like sort through a bunch, and it's
1 second. Hi, Randy from Channel 12. And we've got, who else we got in here? My goodness. Oh, that's you, Sherry. I'm like, hey, there's
It's-
somebody new in here. Oh, that's you,
It's
Sherry.
me. It's just me. Don't worry about it. I'm saying hi to everybody.
I can't hardly see today. This is why Glenn don't let me read. It's like, what's that say? So, okay. What all did you get into there, Chad?
well, we're gonna get into like the origins and the lore of like vampires, werewolves, where they began. However, it is just to be noted a tale that's told in every nook and cranny of the world, you know, all around. Now, granted, in Asia, they have different variations of this. In Africa, they have different variations of this. When it comes to the werewolf, it might be like a werewolf, like one of those hyenas. And so, but they have similar stories when they get into this. And so, like, Romania, different areas over in there, it's really thick with the vampire, especially lore. And so they have claims. So even though these are stories that we're going to tell, there's like the things that happened, um, in the towns and stuff that created all the stories that kept it going, throughout this. And so like they would tell stories of, say, like missing cattle or missing people or whatever it is, and they go dig up graves, and then they would find the corpse of so and so, with flesh intact and blood around the mouth and stuff like that. So there's these tales that kind of keep it going. But we're gonna dive into like more of the origins of, let's say, the vampire and the werewolf, and then just kind of go from there.
Okay. Now I know Denise said she knows plenty of energy vampires, and yeah, Susie and I can attest to that very well. And
Yeah, and
that
that's
is
the other thing is vampirism really can expand to many things. I think Douglas Dietrich gets into that on his program. When he breaks down what a vampire is, he's very knowledgeable in that arena. But yes, there's energy vampires. There's, according to Penny Bradley, there's the first people on this planet were vampiric and at nature, and it was more of a spell casting and magic was more their forte. And then came along the Anunnaki, and it was more psychic abilities and intuition and telepathy and things like that. So it's just nice that it kind of ties into her philosophy as well.
Yeah.
And I will admit,
do you have videos that you're going to want me to bring up?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And hello, long lost Woo, Brenda's heartthrob. How are you?
Yeah, I thought it would be interesting to get into the history first, and we'll just talk about that. I know a little bit about the vampire, and Susie knows as well and is aware, and we've been discussing that a little bit today. But I was really pleased to see that she found the lore of the werewolf and made some connections there, as only Susie can. And because there really wasn't a lineage for werewolves. It was more like you made a deal with the devil, and he handed you some kind of article of clothing or a device, something to wear, and a lotion, usually some kind of oil or something to do. And so it wasn't like they'd bite you and it was passed on that way. It wasn't, this was somebody that made a deal with the devil. And it goes back to the most original story of the werewolf. And this isn't like its lineage. mind you, because there's not a lineage that I'm talking about. I couldn't find one. Susie did. This is told from Ovid and Metamorphosis, and we've already discussed this because Ovid talked about the dragon. He talked about the gods changing themselves into fish, and killing the dragon. We looked at the dragon above Morocco, so there's evidence that, and Ovid is considered like insane in the intellectual world, and he's the only philosopher they don't listen to because his stuff about gods changing themselves into giants and turning themselves into stone was just too much for them to comprehend.
I think that if they don't want to listen to you and they call you crazy, you're on the right path.
Right? And so we found evidence into Ovid, and now we have this story from Ovid, and it gets into, I believe it was, we were talking about it earlier. Do you remember, Susie? It was Zeus.
Yeah.
Okay, it was Zeus. And actually, let me just do this real quick, if you don't mind, because AI is really good at this. Unfortunately, that's what I'm going to cheat and do.
So, Susie, do you think that there are people that are out there that still have that genetic in their family, maybe a curse from their family that can still transfer from human to werewolf?
Well, think about it. Everything is DNA. So
Right.
everything is in the DNA. So it's carried within bloodlines. So it's kind of like a hit and miss, I mean, it can, just like anything in a bloodline, it can pop up. So some of
Right.
these, not necessarily vampires because they have to be turned, okay? But werewolves, yes, and definitely,
Randy said that his team has pictures of them. Pictures? Of
Yeah.
what? Oh, Randy, we're going to have a conversation.
That's cool.
So, okay, this is the first story of a werewolf, and it's through Ovid. So this just goes to show that, we do believe, well, we can say that there's, evidence towards there being actual gods, and there being a war, and there being evidence to what this insane philosopher was, saying, allegedly insane. So, according to him, the god Jupiter descends to Earth, and this is Zeus, in human form, and to witness and to punish the pervasive immortality of mankind during the Iron Age, when the people of Arcadia began to worship the stranger as a god, King Lycaon. Now, this is the main character here, King Lycaon, a cruel and impious tyrant, scoffs at their piety and decides to test Jupiter's divinity. Well, the people, he shows himself as a god. The people believe he's a god, but this tyrant that's running over, and he's the worst of all the ones on Earth right now, and he chose this city for a reason. And he decides to test Zeus. So what he does is he sacrifices a child, I believe it's slaves, and cooks him up and goes to serve it to Zeus as a dinner. And Zeus recognizes it right away and strikes him with a lightning bolt, and then transforms him into a wolf with still some of the similar features, his eyes and everything like that, and with gray hair, and set him, into the fields. So that's the very first story that we have of a werewolf, according to a lot of people that look into this. Susie's deep dived into it a little bit further. And so those are the stories that you kind of got to look into when it comes to werewolves. There's even modern day werewolves that have, or farmers that were thought to be werewolves, and killed by beheading, because there was actually like the witch trials. There was werewolf trials going around Europe at one point. So it was very alive and well within the community. That there was something going on. So
there's a werewolf right there. Hi, Kiki.
She's looking for
your seat. Oh, she's looking for food.
Okay.
We're a big animal show here, in case nobody knows. We all have animals, and periodically they like to make their entrance on screen. So mine's sleeping right now, thank God. But Kiki likes to be a big part of the show.
She loves being on YouTube.
Yep, yeah. So let me see what.
Well, I was going to say, you go into the Norse mythology and legends, history books. The Rosetta is the Norse book. It claims that Loki had with a Nephilim. He had 3 monster children. One is Fenrir the wolf. Okay, so the other one are Yamungandar, which is the world serpent or dragon, I guess you could call it, leviathans, and then so that's it starts there, and I think that Zeus was actually one of a full brother to Odin, because he had 3 gods that came about in that story, and then so Odin was in the Norse, Zeus was the Greek, and so I'm pretty sure that's these stories all kind of different, kind of, and then later when you have after he kills the giant, you have the earth, then you get the Anunnaki, which are the Nephilim, who come down, the Anunnakis, and then they make Adam and Eve, and they were made from the earth, and the blood of according to the Imalish, it was they killed somebody named Kingu, which was Tiamat's husband, and took his blood, mixed it with the earth, and created Adam and Eve, who were giants. And then, so that DNA, that's what I'm talking about, that DNA within that race, the Hebrew race, or whatever you want to call it, carries all these genes, so that's why these things are born. And that's what it talks about. Benjamin, who becomes a ravenous wolf, and it's a literal wolf, and so he becomes a werewolf. And then if he turns into that wolf from the human form, he has to actually eat a human to come back to be a human, or else he has to stay a wolf.
Right.
So yeah, and then you have and then I was talking to Chad earlier, and I was reading about Enoch. Turns out, Chad, Enoch turned to a vampire. And the reason that is because he was in the land of, that he had so Cain goes to Lilith after he kills his brother.
3.
Huh?
He's one of the 3, yeah.
Yeah, Enoch became a vampire. That's why he lived forever. Okay, remember the story? He hasn't died because he's a vampire. And he turned because he had the city of Enoch, and Cain, what had happened is Cain murdered his brother Abel, and then he was marked with leprosy. Okay, it was a leprosy mark, and he wandered in the land of Nod. And this is in the book of Nod. You can read this. He wandered there, and he ran into Lilith because she had fled also, and he saw that she had power, and so she literally cut her wrist, put it in a cup, and let him drink her blood, so that he turned, and then he was given all these magical powers and everything. After he got all the powers, he decided to leave Lilith, and he went to the city of Urbar. Urbar was the city of Enoch, okay, and the Sethians. So Cain and Abel's other son Seth, they had a city, and so he goes to that city, and apparently Enoch wanted this power, and so they call it awakening. By giving them their blood, they awaken. That's what it was called, the awakening.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And so Enoch chose to awaken so he could live forever. So so that's where, and they had to turn these people, but once you turned them, they couldn't have children after that, but they could live forever, right? So, and then there's this prophecy about Gehenna. It says that it claims that Cain is still alive and he's wandering the earth, or he's somewhere, and that one day he will destroy all the clans of the vampires. He will, you know, that's the prophecy. But so, yeah, it's a weird one.
Yes. Well, there's a discrepancy too. I wonder, that I think maybe clarified is that when this Cain came into Ubar, the city, which was also another name for Enoch, I guess.
Yeah, the city of Enoch. Yeah.
And because his name was Ubar, and then they changed it to Enoch or something. So that he came in rags, and everything like that, but that they saw him as a god, and then he gave him the crown, and did. I bet he traded the crown for that eternal life.
Yes. Yeah, he put Cain over the city, and Cain made it a beautiful city. Yeah.
And then there's Zillah,
right?
And Erod, which is Enoch's brother. So those were the next vampires made by Cain. And I think Enoch wanted his brother to be part of this, so that's Erod. And then Zillah was just really beautiful. And so Cain took her, but there's a rumor that she might have been the illegitimate child of Lilith and Adam. Illegitimate, I don't know if that's a right word, but the child of Adam and Lilith that wasn't recorded or something like that, which would make her his half-sister. It's a little kinky. And then from then on down, it gets breaks down, because then there's the next 13.
Uh-oh. Chad's internet.
Chad.
We lost him. He just disappeared.
Yeah, he's out at his dad's, so he may have a little bit of problems.
He'll come back.
Yeah, he'll be back. There he is. There you are.
Okay.
Your internet went.
Okay, Chad, you said something about, after you said about Zillah, and then you said something about 13, and then you went blank.
So Zillah might be the half-sister. Did you get that much?
Yeah.
Okay, so because you laughed, and then I said it breaks down into the 13, and then it kind of gets into their dynasties, and then they're each cursed with something a little different, and it becomes like the vampire soap opera, so you can't really. It's just too many names and too much drama to keep track of, but there is that information out there if you'd really like it. But the beginning part of it is a little bit clearer, and that's where Cain, the original. Well, they say he's the original, but he was in a relationship with
Lilith. Yeah, she gave it to him.
Blood. So they say that she's the original, but that when he was in that ecstasy of drinking the blood and in that eternal bliss and everything like that, he was visited by, the 4 angels, or you said 3. And those angels are, sorry, because you're correct, they're Michael, Raphael, and Uriel. And Michael made it to where the sun, that he would never be able to walk in the sun. They gave him the option to repent his brother's death, and to reject the ecstasy he was feeling. And he refused to do either. And so then he got cursed by Michael to never walk in the sun. He got cursed by Raphael to be hurt by the sun. And he got cursed by Uriel to make the blood dependent on the blood of man and to remain alive, to be shunned forever as a monster, you know. And then Gabriel
He'd
came
have to
in
live off of blood. Yeah, and live off of blood. Yeah.
and offered him the path of redemption, basically saying there's a path out there, and if you find it, you know, and if you're holier than holy, then you can find
Yeah,
redemption.
Gabriel offered him, didn't curse him. He was the fourth angel. Gabriel came to him and said, you have an opportunity to redeem yourself, but it will be a long, hard road and you'll have to suffer a lot to find salvation.
Okay. Okay. Well, from there they made 13 others, and it just seems ironic to me that there's 13 bloodlines that are.
I think you're right. I think that those bloodlines are key to this third, because he produced like a second generation and a third generation of vampires, and the further down the generation, the vampires are weaker and weaker. They don't hold like one of the magic skills they had was they could run very fast, very, very fast, you know. And as the generations go, as they turn them, they have less powers. And it said the third generation wiped out the whole second generation.
Wow.
But that Cain is the highest, and he's still alive, and he has more power than any of them. He's got the highest magic power. Yeah.
So our vampires and our werewolves go all the way back to, well,
the beginning of time, you know,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Okay, now I want you guys to listen to this. You know, we have this problem with a lot of people nowadays who scare children so that they get that boost. So you mean to tell me they have been doing this since the beginning of time?
Yeah.
They always say there's nothing new under the sun, so
This is true. History repeats itself.
yeah.
Wow. Kind of sickening, I guess. But I'm not a vampire, so, you know. I bite just a little, but, you know, not for blood. So we're good. But
And then there's a big problem between Lilith and Cain, because he left and she was upset with that. And so the werewolves and the vampires are not friends. They're at war with each other.
yeah, they don't like each other. That's kind of known. They don't get along.
And then you have the Bigfoots.
Are we gonna throw them in there too?
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
So it turns out that the first human Bigfoot was Esau. He was the hairy man, the wild hairy man. And that his mother had to kill a goat and put it on Jacob, who was a smooth skin, and the hair of the goat, and then take the garments off of Esau because he smelled really bad, and put it on Jacob and put the hair all over him. So when his blind father touched him, he'd feel all this hair. Okay. And so, yeah. And that gets even weirder because so Esau
Dang it.
goes out, he's called the wild hunter, and he goes out and he kills Nimrod. Okay. Murders Nimrod. And Nimrod is known as Gilgamesh. Okay. So, and that's a weird story because Nimrod was the son, came through the line of Noah and Cush, and that he was his son. Okay, so he was like, and so in the beginning, when God made this garment for Adam and Eve. Okay, they after they sinned or whatever, they were naked. But according to the legend of the Jews, they originally had hair that went from the top of their head and covered their entire body so that they weren't naked. That's what they were covered with, their own hair. And then
Oh.
that was removed from them. And so it said that God took the skins of an animal, and this is going to blow your mind, Brenda. So in the legend of the Jews, the skin of the animal that he covered, he made the garments for Adam and Eve, right? This is in the Bible. These garments were made from Leviathan, the serpent.
Oh, yeah.
The dragon.
I think I heard about
yes.
that.
So these garments were, and what they did was they gave them like magical powers. These garments did. Okay. So what happened was those garments were passed on down. Okay. They ended up with Noah on the ark, and then Ham stole the garments from his father and hid them. And then he gave them to his son Cush, and then Cush gave them to Nimrod. Okay. And then Nimrod, he put them on. It says when Nimrod put on the garments, he became a mighty man, a Nephilim, and grew in great stature and strength. And then all these cities, he became ruler over all these cities. Nimrod did. The Tower of Babel, he became, and even subdued animals and people and everything. So that's what, and then the story goes on to say how Esau, this wild man, was out hunting, and he killed Nimrod and and these two other men, and he took the garments, stole the garments from Nimrod. And so my thought is, I haven't gone down the rabbit hole deeper than this yet, but my thought or theory at this point is, so Esau, who is Bigfoot, the hairy man, which is, yeah, and think about this for a second. So you have Rebecca, the mother of the two twins, one smooth skin, one hairy man. Okay. She loves the smooth one, which is like the Native Americans, right? They're smooth skin. So she loves him because these people were all dark skinned. Okay. She loves him, but she doesn't like Esau at all because he's hairy. Okay. But the father does. So that's a very dysfunctional family. Okay.
Yeah.
Seriously. And it says that God hates Esau. God hates Esau, but loves Jacob. Okay, so we got some really love-hate going on here. And this hairy man is the firstborn, so he's heir to this. And so some think that this garment was the inheritance, okay, that because it passed down from Adam, and this is why Esau ends up with this garment that, and I think that according to the Jewish, they wear this thing on their chest with all these crystals. So I think crystals have something to do with this garment that came from this dragon Leviathan or Yamungandar dragon, and that gives them some kind of magical powers. And I think that's why a lot of people understand something about crystals. I mean, it's a lot of rabbit holes to go down to find the answers, but a lot of this is in these books and explains this to us. But it's crazy. I mean, it really is crazy. So I'm just saying that there's a lot of dysfunction in that family. And I think that, and then it goes on to say, it does say that Enoch marries these other people that have like this genetic hair situation, and they make a lot more Bigfoots, and then they go off into the wild and hide. And they live on the earth with us, but they're really the sons of Esau, the descendants of Esau. So they're not necessarily bad, in my opinion. I mean, and I wondered why it was that James Casbolt said that Michael Aquino sent him out to kill all the Bigfoots. Like why would he do that?
Well, Michael Aquino was not a very nice man anyways. But
it said that God hated Esau. So, we're talking about a bad God, okay?
Yeah.
A God. Okay, so I'm just saying, so I'm just saying that the Esau wasn't necessarily bad, okay? Esau was just a hairy man, somebody like, what about Barnum and Bailey and, the hairy woman or the hair? People are born in different generations, different families that are what they call freaks, right?
Yes, yes, the giants.
Well,
We
they have,
have, yes.
yeah,
Go
there's a
ahead.
family down in Mexico that was born all hairy, their face and
Yeah,
everything.
the like werewolf syndrome is what they call it. But
Yeah,
they actually like they don't grow it where their eyes are, but they grow it all the way around and down the cheeks, and
yeah, there's a
yeah,
family that's like that.
they have beautiful
I
hair.
think it's a genetic trait that
Yeah,
sets off or something.
yeah, yeah.
That sets that off. So that could, and same with giantism. I mean, these giants that existed before didn't have the conditions that the giant that are, 6'9" and above people have here now, because it's like it's not like they're giants, but there's a giantism or something,
Yeah,
that
they
they're
have a
mutating,
gene
that
I
kicks
think
in
it
with the
gets
genes.
diluted, right, Chad? I mean,
as it
like
goes
with the
down the line.
vampires, the generations they get
Mhm.
weaker and weaker, because it's diluting. Yeah.
Well, there's this theory out there too with vampires that isn't, that's another theory, and it's like that there's this gene that lies dormant inside the human, and whenever we get too populated, it becomes and I guess active, and so the theory is like lions and gazelles. And so gazelles aren't very smart, but lions are very, intelligent. That could probably be argued. But because the predator and the prey is just has a different
Right.
instinct, and there are very few, lions compared to the gazelles, they keep the population in check. And with humans, it would mean that we'd become like 10 times smarter, more, everything else, and then apathetic. I don't know, whatever we'd become when
Well,
when that happens, and that the vampire comes out, as something from nature.
well, I don't. I
That's
mean,
someone's theory.
to say that humans are so much smarter, I don't know. I've run in. I've been watching the news. That damn
Oh no,
Glenn
we're
had
dumb.
me
That's
watching
what
the
they're saying. We're
news,
dumb.
and I'm just
You
saying.
need that vampire.
Well, they're pretty smart because I'm here to tell
Yeah,
you,
they're like a
some of these
genius with a psychopath mixed
yeah,
together.
some of these people out there should not be breeding. I mean, honestly, their mothers should have swallowed because there's just so much dumb going on. But, however, anything that I have ever heard when it comes to vampires, that they're very intelligent. Um, Now, Susie and I know somebody that we had talked about before, that we kind of suspected that they could be a vampire. Now, I love this person dearly. We're not going to mention his name, but I haven't had a chance to talk to Susie about this because I do think that she was onto something when we were talking about it. And
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, so we will talk
Well,
later about that because I found a few things out. So, I mean, I'm not afraid of this person. Guys, look at me. I'm not really afraid of much. Okay.
Well,
You look at me.
it says that Cain was actually he he was kind of a guy who wanted to keep justice and try to make things right, even though he made a lot of mistakes. So he's going to watch over all these generations of vampires, and he's going to make sure that he, because he's the most powerful, that he makes things right.
Hi, Sparky. Yeah.
So that's kind of serious. That's a serious story.
Yeah.
And he's one of his nicknames is the Wanderer. Cain is because he said he's watching all his children.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not afraid of this person, Susie. Just so that you know, I would go visit this person in a heartbeat. I would have no fear. Um, I mean, you're looking
Right.
at somebody who faced actual reptilians, and
It's like,
I unfortunately have the knack that I can smell them no matter what form they're in. So I cannot walk around in my life being afraid of anything. I've seen spirits since I was 5 years old. They don't bother me. They come and go. So not a lot scares me. So
You know, Brenda, I think when I just realized that Enoch turned into a vampire, that was kind of shocking. You know, I mean, but it makes sense because they said he never died. They're real
well,
clear about saying he never died. So does that
that's
mean
true.
Elijah got turned too? Because Elijah never died. I
How
mean,
far?
just
How
saying.
far? What book did you find that in? Did you
It's
actually find that in the Book of Enoch?
it is in the I think in the Book of Nod, and that's
Okay.
almost more popular, I guess, than the Bible, even because it's been around a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Because
wondering what you're going to think of that when I ran across it too, because it said, right, as plain as day, Cain made Enoch, Erod, and Zillah. And I was like, ooh, Enoch,
Makes
because
sense.
and
and
I'm
then
reading
Enoch. Go ahead, Brenda. I'm sorry.
and I'm reading in the Ethiopian Bible and the Book of Enoch at the same time. So I've ran across some strange things, but I haven't finished it yet. So um, I'm hoping this weekend, which I feel like I'm getting a fever, so I think I'm coming down with a little cold. So I'm going to probably spend this weekend in bed anyways. So I'm going to finish reading those this weekend.
Now, my
Things
first
like
thought,
that.
Brenda, when it my first thought is when I heard that Enoch was a vampire, I said, "Oh, no wonder they took the Book of Enoch out of the Bible." That was my first thought.
Well,
Now,
you
never
know,
know.
now, when it was under the rule of Enoch and Cain, I mean, the people walked amongst them and worshiped them like gods, but everything
Yeah,
was peaceful, right? The workers kind of would donate themselves over, and then the criminals were punished by, you know, not
yeah,
not voluntarily, but they'd
right.
get taken out that way. So they had a fairly peaceful city and everything. They were eating the criminals and everybody was worshiping them. But
and that's
It's not
why they
easy
said that
today.
Noah built the ark. It said because of the vampires. That's why the flood.
no,
That's what it was
What?
all about. It
Wait,
was over.
wait.
It was because of the vampires. So many of them.
So it
and the
wasn't
flood had to
because of the
clear them out. Now
giants?
Enoch. Go ahead, Brenda.
So it wasn't because of the giants, it was because of the vampires?
Yes.
Huh. There's an interesting thing.
Yeah, that's new.
Yeah. Well, because they said the Bible does say that the giants were here before and after the flood.
Yeah, they turned
So,
into some of them were the Raphim afterwards, which they became smaller.
right.
You know.
Well,
Yeah, I
the
think that's because
Susie,
of the generational thing, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
that could be. And then didn't you also say, Susie, didn't we find out before that the giants would become smaller until they ate? And when they ate, they grew?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, there's Andre the Giant. Remember the wrestler?
Right.
I mean, they called him Andre the Giant. So,
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's there's there. We still have giant people amongst us. I mean,
we live on a giant.
I mean, there. I think that's
yeah.
we have the Bigfoots, we do have the vampires, we do have the werewolves. I mean, the dogmen. It's what they call them now,
Okay.
dogmen.
Yeah, and I've never understood the difference between a werewolf and a dog man.
Same
One
thing.
looks undernourished, but that might be about it.
It's
I mean, seriously.
Okay. I think dogmen are more of a government thing.
My neighbor, I'm sorry, he keeps slamming his door.
well, they can make well, let's see. I mean, yeah, they could breed them. I mean, that gene.
I think Chad's right. It's more of a government
Yeah, like a
takings. Because they didn't, I didn't hear about
experimentation.
dogmen till the last few years. Growing up, I mean, you know werewolves and vampires and other cryptids, but not till
And
recently.
dogmen like it in the desert. The dogmen are totally different than a werewolf. They're their own species, and that's where I was thinking. There's really a lot that gets kind of like just lumped into werewolf.
Yeah.
Randy said
You know,
the
because also
difference-
Abe talks about this too, you know, in his
yeah.
program. And
Randy-
there are those entities out there. There's probably those like dogmen or those dark things.
Well,
but it's
remember
not
in
necessarily
Egypt,
the lineage
in Egypt you have what do you have? Anubis. You know,
of.
Anubis
what
is
was
a
that?
human with the dog head, dog face. Yeah,
Oh, yes.
Tails.
Anubis.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I was asking.
And he
what
was
the
considered a
difference-
god. Yeah.
I was asking what the difference was between a werewolf and a dog man, and Randy said the tails.
Tails. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, but any picture I've ever seen of dog man, it shows them like really skinny in the belly, where werewolves look big and muscular and kind of sexy, really. But you know, dogmen look like they're undernourished. That like they don't get enough to eat, or they're rabid. One of the two. Yeah.
Well, I think they're the same, honestly, but I think that once you turn for, and the moon has something to do with that. And in the story in the Bible where Benjamin is a ravenous wolf and something to do with the moon, and his father would have to have physicians to keep him from changing, which is kind of like, you know how these movies tell us stuff, right? So Little Red Riding Hood has to wear a cape in order not to, like to be protected. And and in that movie, Once Upon a Time, the werewolf in there, she has to wear this red cape so that she doesn't change, okay, on a full moon or whatever, so that she doesn't turn into the werewolf. Because if they go from human to werewolf, and that's like with Benjamin in the Bible, the rabbi said that it's a literal translation, that Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. It says he devours his prey in the morning and then divides his spoil, right? So he's giving it to the other werewolves. So when they switch over, in order to come back to be human, they have to actually consume a human. Otherwise, they stay the dog man. They stay in the dog form and they don't become human again. So they have to eat a human to be human. That's the curse of the blood, of consume the blood.
So let's say they don't eat a human, which I don't see how that's possible because that seems to be who they go after. But even a dogman would go after a human. So eventually it would eat a human to turn back anyways, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they don't always stay in that form.
But
so
they can stay, like in the Norse story, Fenrir, the wolf, he did not eat humans. He could kill them, but he didn't have to eat them. So he stayed a wolf. And because he had the giant gene, the Nephilim, he got to be huge, gigantous wolf. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I get it now.
And an alternative too is a dogman might have something to do with the devil and someone that's just made a deal, because they do seem to, I think I've heard of like satanic things like being seen around them, signs or symbols, like on caves or whatever. Because that's like with the skinwalker or those people, they've just done so much evil that they've, I don't know. But I don't think it's something that turns back to a human, is it?
The dog
man?
Yeah, I think they could, if they were to eat the human and not kill. They could kill them, but I mean, you just have to go and look at reports and go down that rabbit trail to see if these dogmen are just, killing the people, or if they're eating them, consuming them.
Now, Randy said that they have found that the dogman is like the guard dog for the Bigfoots, and they hunt for the Bigfoot. So I guess that explains why Bigfoot doesn't hunt. I mean, they do. I've heard of them deer or something like that. But I guess the dogmen could do that. But I was.
They could be
I mean,
friends. I'm sure, there's some unlikely friendships there.
They also mentioned them in Egypt too. Dogmen was in Egypt times and were wiped out by Michael and by the Michael.
They don't turn back. Okay, dogmen don't turn back.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't think they did. I bet all the ones that I've heard about, they're just dogmen.
Yeah. So what
I'm thinking.
videos did you bring that you sent me?
Oh yeah, let's get into that a little bit, but hold on. Yeah. But I do think there are those dogmen that are just military trained those are the ones I'm kind of tuning into that are not the good kind. Maybe part of the problem of the missing 411, not the entire problem, but maybe part of the problem. Like they set them loose and just see how they hunt and track down things, or let them up every once in a while. I don't know. There may be something to that, but yeah, dogmen in general. I mean, there's just no way to just discriminate. We gotta
We got to count them all in, all hands in. Well,
we
Randy,
don't want
you're
to
going to have
discriminate against them and stuff. But I did want to say, okay, in regards to the 13 families that Enoch, now he chose amongst the people when he chose to change one over into a vampire. He wanted to go for more wisdom, art, and philosophy. That's what he was looking for. So apparently he changed Malkov, Solas, and Toreador. Now these names are just really weird. But then
you talk about the 12 names, right?
Yeah.
Like the 12 families, yeah.
Yeah, and then Erod was more interested in battle. He wanted warriors, people that knew how to fight. So
there's an alien gray named Erod. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. And then he changed to Bruja. Bruja is a word for witches and stuff, but just think of these 13 families and their names. Bruja, the Cappadocias, Lysambra, and then there's the Ventrus. It seems like Ventrus. I don't know. Ventrus seems like something out there, vampire-like. And then Zila wanted more for hunting. She was known for being more of a huntress, so she chose Gangle, Akin, Nosarathru, and Set. And Nosarathru.
Yeah, that one is noticed that the people that are followers of Set. And see, Michael Aquino wrote a whole thing on vampires, how they're real, and how regular people are so stupid because they don't even believe in this stuff. But they live everywhere, like they live all amongst us, and these vampires are in all the cities. And they claim that the highest cities are Miami, New York, and what's the third one?
New Orleans.
Oh, New Orleans, yeah. Where most of the vampire clans live, the biggest clans, Miami, New Orleans, and New York. Yeah.
Randy, you're going to have to come on my show one night.
Yeah, he's got a lot of interesting stuff, information.
I've been sitting here watching this.
Oh, I have not seen anything in there.
He said that the dogmen are like, Michigan. This is my state.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
They need to go and eat the problems that Michigan's having right now.
Well, they're not down where I live, but
that's good.
I mean,
now, Nosarathru, that seems like a infamous vampiric name to me. Nosarathru, like almost a movie was named that.
Oh wow.
Nosarathru. I don't know,
Nosarathru.
Now, he was cursed because he had vanity to look like a corpse. And I'm pretty sure those are the ones, or whatever ones that are portrayed as the Nosarathrus, or have the big old things and just like look like corpses and black eyes and look really
pale skin. Yeah.
So I think there are different lineages of these things going down. as we got into in one of our episodes with the fittest flat earther, he has that speculation that everybody's a vampire and that we're going through these generations. And so I wanted to get into some real stories now that there's just two, one on a vampire and one on a werewolf. I'm so sorry I didn't take time to find more, but
We're traveling. That's okay.
in time or we could always listen further. But yeah, Brenda has those. I believe I sent them over. Do you see them?
Yes, I do. You sent me two.
And then I think Susie has a story too. She's got a werewolf story. I want to hear her tell if she doesn't mind.
Okay. Do you want to see the first video you sent me or the second one?
Either one. Yeah, I think one of them's really short and it's going to play all the way through. It's like 5 minutes, and then there's one that's I think 13 minutes, and we're just going to watch the first one.
Okay. Now, just so that you guys know, you're going to have to deal with a couple of commercials here and there. You'll hear me cussing them out because even when you pay for YouTube, you still get commercials.
Really? Wow.
Yes. Bastards. Oh, sorry. Don't get me going. Here we go.
I feel led of the Holy Spirit to make this video because I saw this in the news recently. Werewolf or a costume, creepy figure filmed outside of zoo puzzles internet. And I'm going to go down because it didn't pull up the video up there. But this is the figure that they saw. And they caught this on camera about 1 something in the morning. And they said it was outside of a zoo in Texas. I feel led by God to make this video because if you go through my videos, I have a video called Demons Behind TV Shows, how I was addicted to a Japanese anime that consisted of vampires and werewolves. And it was like God was telling me to stop watching it, but it was like I couldn't stop watching it, almost like I was bewitched, like a spell was on me, until God gave me a dream of being in a house, a TV in front of me, and on this old TV screen, the Japanese anime with the vampires and the werewolves popped up. But then it was like the most hideous demon popped up. And God told me that that demon was behind that TV show. And in that dream or vision, I kept rebuking this demon. It was hideous. It was disgusting looking. I was rebuking it in the name of Jesus repeatedly. And the demon like ran out of the house. And the door was like flapping, almost like in the cartoons where something run fast and the door just keep moving because I guess the air of the creature or the person, moving past it. But then I noticed every time I got on Facebook, in my like news feed and stuff, I would find stories of werewolves or hybrids. And I mean, if you read a little bit, it's intriguing. It'll pull you in because, it's always like the alpha werewolf, the one in charge, will fall in love with the omega. And in these stories, the omega is, very sexual, very lewd. Like they just want to use them sexually. But I was like, Lord, why am I seeing so many werewolf stories? I don't watch a lot of movies or keep up with entertainment and stuff. But the Lord was telling me to look at the popular movies of 2022. So when I did that, there's so many werewolf movies coming out this year. And of course, people love these things. Even women. I was reading an article like women, like what monster porn says about science and sexuality. What does women want? Feud wants wine. Turns out quite a few women want fantasy sex with T-Rex, Sasquatch, or a boar-headed god.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm tripping over my words. But reading these stories, I think it has like a demonic spirit attached to it. Because when I used to read it, it do make you sexually fantasize in your head about having sex with werewolves or whatever the creature may be, vampires, Sasquatch, or whatever. I'm even seeing movies, like my mom was watching sci-fi and Sasquatch sexually wanted a woman. He kidnapped a woman in the movie and they showed him raping her. And if you looked at his eyes was so demonic, but you could tell it was filled with lust when it looked at this woman. And they're just showing us the appetites of demons. And Jesus said, if you look at a woman, you know, sexually in your heart, hold up, I'm trying to figure out how to say it. If you look at a woman sexually in your heart, you have committed adultery. And a lot of people don't realize by reading this stuff, by watching this stuff in your heart, you are committing adultery with these demons, with these abominations. But a lot of people don't think that they are because they're like, it's just in my mind. I'm not doing it physically. But I feel like the devil is getting people ready for the creatures that are about to be poured on the earth, because I keep getting dreams of after the rapture. I'm seeing giants. God is showing me like just monsters coming out of the ground. But plus I want to tell you about an encounter that I had. I never seen a werewolf, but one Halloween I was in my bed. I heard a werewolf, and what was so weird about it was so loud. I knew it was outside my window, and I knew that that howl that it makes towards the moon was directed at me, because in my room it was like my curtain started moving as it howled. Like my curtain started moving supernaturally, like wind was, you know, blowing them, but my window was closed. But that made me think that, okay, these werewolves, they are real. It's something spiritual about them. And of course, we're being lied to about everything, because the Bible tells us that Satan deceives the whole world. But definitely keep on the full armor of God. Be careful what you watch, what you listen to. Guard your heart and know that Jesus Christ is Lord.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
You know, Chad, the story of Zilla, you're talking about Zilla because she turned into a vampire, right? It was said that Cain lusted after her, and she didn't want him, but he wanted her. So he went to this crone, which I'm not sure what a crone was, but it was a woman
Right.
that could cast spells, dark magic, you know. And he did some
She
kind
might
of
have
deal
been
with this.
Lilith too.
Huh? Yeah,
She
he
might
did
have
some kind
been
of.
Lilith, but
That's true.
sure
So this
don't tell
crone
ya.
did some kind of spell where he could connect himself to Zilla with his blood, but and then take power over her will, and but then by doing the spell with the crone got control over um, Cain. Okay, so she could actually control Cain too, but that's how he ended up getting Zilla to marry him, and that's how he got her. He kind of did some dark what they call like love potion magic or dark magic love, to get her. That's how he got her. And then after about a year of being under
Yep.
control of this crone, he tried to figure out how to get out from underneath her, and he went and he told her this story referencing somebody else, but it was toward her. And she says, if you take a wooden spike and you drive it into there, you can paralyze them. So he got a wooden spike and drove it into her. But it's said that this wooden spike that they drive into the vampires, it doesn't actually kill them. It only just paralyzes them while it's
Right.
in.
Yeah. Because if you go to
You gotta behead them.
they've showed like even the vampires that have been dead for like a very long time, if you pull that out, they can come back to life. Like all they need is blood. Somebody just give them a little blood and they come back. So
Yeah. And there's some suspicion in Iceland too, because they found these skulls, the skeletons buried. Yeah, that looks painful. With big old rocks stuffed in their mouth, like as to prevent them from biting anything else. So there's
Doesn't say they have to stuff their
curiosity.
mouth full of dirt, right? When they bury them, they have to put their mouth full of dirt.
They literally took stones and just wedged them in there so that, which was interesting to see them dig up. I thought she made some interesting things, said some interesting things in there, because she did say her werewolf encounter was after, being surrounded by a theme of werewolf and messages, that she did hear a howl one night, and it did make the curtains move, even though the windows were shut. But she did make a point to say that it's kind of like, you know, what the Hollywood is doing is sort of like porn industry. And it's putting out monster porn or something like that. And it's getting people to fantasize or to just admire or to find, you know, to become enamored with these monsters. And that there's actually demon, because she said what she was told is like she was watching the anime with the vampires, and God was telling her there's actually a demon behind this, you know. So I think people, what she's implying is you're going to attract it into your life, you know. You're going to stumble into that vampire bar if you're sitting there reading nothing but vampire books and vampire porn, you know what I mean? Like monster porn is what she's calling it. It's kind of like the more you feed into it, the more it's in your life, or something along those lines. And to put your full armor on and to, you know, use Jesus as a weapon, not as a weapon, but as protection against it. Now, the next person is going to be talking about vampires.
Okay.
So
And,
this is a thing on TikTok too. So they do like all these not confessions, but people are coming out and saying so. So the next one is on vampires.
Why? And Wu said that he has a question. Does anybody on the panel know where werewolves originated from? Which I think we did talk about that, but Wu might have missed it. Because instead of sitting here and watching the show, he was probably running around, if I know Wu.
It's
Well,
Loki,
I'll say it started.
Okay.
There was a land called Niflheim, and that's where the word Nephilim comes from. Nephilim comes from Niflheim. In the land of Niflheim, between the fire and the ice, and all there was fire, the land of fire, the land of ice, and the void. Okay, because Earth was not created yet, so because it came out of the void. In that land, when the fire melted the ice, there was this poisonous river of black goo. Out of that black goo is where the Anunnaki or Anak, okay, that's the word Anak came from. Okay, they were the Nephilim out of Niflheim. So it came up out of that area. It's like a poisonous. It's like if you think of us as biblically coming out of the dirt in the Genesis story, we're coming out of the material dirt, right? The earth. This thing came out of this black, gooey substance, poisonous substance. Okay, so life came out of that substance, and then that's where the frost giants came from. And then the frost giants are the Anaks in the Bible, and that's why it says that Caleb, and when they came out of Egypt, Caleb and they went into the promised land, and they said, we saw the Anak, the Nephilim, okay, who were giants, and they made us look like grasshoppers. Okay, so that's where this originates from. It's like everything is, like I say, DNA. So the DNA behind these things is like a black goo. I think some people in the Super Soldier program talk about the black goo, and it's a very dark, very evil. And I think and it mixes in with the clay or the dirt, the human, and then it manifests these creatures, you know. That's my best explanation that I can try to explain.
I was not born back then, so I really cannot confirm or deny. cannot confirm or deny. I was not alive then.
It was a long time ago, people. It was in the beginning. In the beginning, okay.
In the beginning. Hang on a minute. Let me get through this. First, start that doggone video. Okay.
What, a black man would never give up? Hey, listen, I can prove to you that Adam was white and not black. A black man would never give up a rib. Right?
What? Susie!
That's what one of our guests just said. It was being funny.
Oh. Let me play this. Let me play this so y'all get me in trouble.
But it is kind of funny. Okay, that's funny.
You keep forgetting every time the FBI comes to somebody's door, Susie, it's always mine.
Yeah. Hey, I told you and I told Chad that my 13th grandfather on my dad's mother's side, because that's the Odin side, he married, this family line. My 13th grandfather was Antonio Bassano, who was a Hebrew who was from Sicily, Italy, who was black. So that's why I said I was a black girl 13 generations ago. Okay. Yeah.
I know,
So
I remember us talking about that.
yeah. That's why I had that dream that I told you I went to meet Obama in the dream, and I'm like, hey, were you in the Pegasus Project? He's like, I don't remember, but I think so. And then I hear Michelle calling, and he runs over to the stairs. I run to the bathroom to hide, and I look in the mirror, and I'm a black girl. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm a black girl. And I'm grabbing my hair, and I'm like frizzy as to my shoulder. And I'm like, how did I turn into a black girl? I'm looking at myself, and then that was like a couple months ago. And then I did my genealogy and on that side of my family. And I'm like, well, no, and then when I saw the picture of Amelia Bassano, it was her. I was looking at my ancestor in the mirror. She was looking back at me, and I'm like, what the heck? So I was black. Okay.
You should know better that whenever you and I have a dream, there's usually something behind it.
There was something behind that, all right. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Okay. Vampires? Y'all want to talk about vampires? Okay. So I don't normally do talking videos because number one, I think I'm annoying, and number two, I am a real life yapper. So if I start, who knows where this is gonna go. But I've been seeing everybody getting on here and talking about their real life vampire stories, and so I wanted to share mine. So I am in a PhD program, but in order to be able to afford life, I bartend. And I bartend in rural West Georgia to set the scene, 30-45 minutes from Alabama. Rural. And I work at this small bar. I like to say it's like a step above a dive bar. It's not a dive, but it's not like a chain. It's not fancy. So I like to say it's a step above a dive bar. And most of my guests are regulars. So I have regulars that come into the bar every single day. I know they're going to be there. I know what time they're going to be there. I know what they're going to drink. And maybe there's 3 or 4 new people on the bar side. The restaurant side is different, but on the bar side, maybe 3 new people a day, if that. Okay, so this is the middle of the week, maybe 3 or 4 p.m. It's dead. I mean, I think I have 3 other people sitting at the bar. And this person walks in and they sit down at the bar. Okay, so I'll describe the person and I'll describe their demeanor as well. And then I'll give some details to what sort of made me believe that this person is a vampire. So first of all, the trope of vampires have really pale skin. Opposite of that. Okay, complete opposite of that. This person had a beautiful dark skin, probably the darkest skin I've ever seen in person, darkest skin I've ever seen outside of editorial fashion magazines, so really dark, beautiful skin. It just looked smooth, there were no pores on this person. I'm saying this person because to me they were male presenting. I don't know, but so he had blue eyes, neon blue almost. So I saw this person and I was like, these are either contacts or you're a vampire. I mean, this was an unnatural color for somebody to have for their eyes. They were also wearing, I want to call it a frock. I mean, it was a high-necked black shirt with long sleeves. And this is middle of the summer, so people don't wear that in Georgia. So it was very strange gear that they were wearing. And then it was the demeanor.
Don't we call those turtlenecks?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just checking.
So the demeanor was like, okay, like looking around, like, what is this place? Like they were trying to understand the culture that was going on. And so you might be asking yourself, like, Jess, could this person have been a thespian? Could they have been, was he a man of the theater? Possibly. But again, we are in West Georgia. So, I mean, like, local community theater at best. And that's no shade to community theater. But this man was, like, if this person were an actor, they are method. Like, he did not break. His characteristics were very specific. Okay, so he spoke very little. And then we only have 8. Sorry, I'm gonna pause. Okay, I'm not used to like holding and recording this because I never do this. But we only have about 8 beers on tap, okay? And one of them is a Yingling. So he ordered a Yingling. And I'm already thinking like, this could be a vampire. And what's interesting about Yinglings, I drink Yingling, I drink ambers and red ales. I like beers that are that color, that coppery color, and they have that coppery taste. And I like to tell people, I like beers that taste like a penny. What's interesting is, you know, if you've ever tasted blood before, if you've had like a cut or something, okay, blood tastes like a penny. Blood tastes coppery. There's a coppery taste to blood.
No.
So I was automatically like, okay, evidence, you're a vampire. So he ordered a Yingling. He sipped it, and then he acted like it was palatable. Not that he was like enjoying it, but that like it will do. He did not want a food menu. And then let's see. Okay, this is where it got weird. Was I'm already in my head like, first of all, okay, let me pause. Something about me. I am a skeptic who wants to believe. So I'm open to your conspiracy theories. I'm open, like I'm the mythical creatures. Sure, they're out there, but I need proof. I need evidence. So I'm willing to go on this ride with you, but you're gonna have to give me something. So I'm already like looking for evidence to prove to myself, okay, this is a vampire. And I have really bad hand eczema. So like, I don't know, can't really see right now, but like I get like open cuts. Sometimes they bleed. So on his second Yingling, I notice like I'm bleeding, and I have his little pint glass in my hand, and I hand it to him, and I hesitate, like, I don't want to like trigger you. If you're a natural born hunter, you're a predator, you're gonna lunge at me right now. No. So I like hesitated and then gave him the beer. So he laughed, but not with his mouth. Like I heard it in my brain, like a thought. Like I heard him laughing in my head, like I was recalling a memory of someone laughing. I didn't hear it like an auditory response to something. Okay? And then, I mean, that was pretty much my only bit of evidence that I had, but yeah, he just seemed like he had great disdain for everyone around him. Which, you know, it's rural West Georgia. If those ain't your people, then not your people. But he just seemed like he was either a vampire or he was like from London, you know? Like, I'm just better than you, was the vibe.
Well, I do know this. If you break your nails and you don't get them done, stop talking in the camera with your hands. Okay? Just that irritates the piss out of me. Anyways, sorry.
He only had the 2 beers. He didn't eat anything. And so the total was probably like $9 something. And then I think he left 40. So really good tip. Never saw him again. Haven't seen him since.
He liked the smell of blood. I don't even know if
anybody would remember him if I brought him up. But that's my vampire story.
She should have just handed him the glass to see if he licked it off. I mean, I would have. I would have been like, here you go. Wait, not with my blood. My blood's too rare. He might be like, oh, hey. You said that there are all different ones on here, Chad? Did Chad go to sleep on me?
No, can you hear us, Chad?
There's several
Yes.
different. There's
I
several.
think there are several different ones. I haven't watched
Okay.
them.
Okay. All right.
That was it from what I saw. Because I know Susie has a story as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I just had to say that because my nails are real, and if I break one, I'm running to the shop to have them fix it. I can't do that. That irritates me.
Okay, what story did you want me to? I did send you one of these TikToks too. But what story did you want me to say, Chad?
I think there was a incident when you were somebody came over to maybe view the house or something. It was like, or somebody was invited over to the house and they were going to take you on a walk, and you were like, "No, thank you." And it was a full moon that night.
Okay, Brenda knows about that one, right?
Oh, over at Jerry's.
No. Okay, so
Hang
we
on.
had a certain roommate. Okay.
We'll do this. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember.
We had a certain roommate who invited someone over here, and when that person got here, yeah.
Before the bitch tried to kill me, she invited her over there. Before the bitch tried to kill me. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay. And so anyway, this particular person was, somebody that supposedly had a lot of money, but it wasn't true. And then supposedly this person had which I think there's probably, my estimation, there's probably a lot of werewolves in Arkansas. Just saying. Okay. Just saying. Seems to be like a big amount of them. Okay. So anyway, this person comes over, and I cannot, I can't even, this is so weird. Like, you can't make this stuff up. When certain things happen certain ways, you can't make it up because it just happens, and you're like you're looking back at it going, I can't believe that just happened, but I know it happened, so I believe it. Well, so I believe this person was a werewolf, okay, and was invited over. And the thing with me and the werewolves is I'm a direct descendant from Odin, the All-Father, right? Who I believe is really, like, the biblical name of him was Jehovah, because he was the creator of the first two humans, and he created the earth, So, I mean, and that's why I say Zeus was his brother, because, it's just, this stuff anything else doesn't make sense, okay? So when I'm studying all this stuff, I'm finding out that Odin was trying to eliminate the Nephilim. He was trying to get rid of all the. He was worried about all the wolves and werewolves and all this stuff. So they were going to try to take care of that problem, and in the process, he ends up fighting the werewolf Fenrir, and Fenrir, the wolf, ate my grandfather. Okay, that's how Odin went in the jaws of a wolf. Okay, so I have this thing with the wolf thing. It kind of bothers me that my grandfather got eaten by one. Okay, not my direct grandfather, but my ancestral grandfather from way back. Okay, so it bothers me. So there's this Norse saying that says, the saying is that a boot shall save the world, like a cowboy boot, like a boot. A boot shall save the world. That's a saying in the Norse. And so I used to work in a boot store for 17 years. I worked in a boot shop called Capital Saddlery in Austin, and we made custom boots that started at $600. So while I was working in that boot store, I got these curtains for my bathroom that have these cowboy boots on them. So the day that this roommate brought this person, which I'm saying is a werewolf, right, over to my house, they walk into the house, and she walks in. The first thing she sees is my curtains with the boots. And she says, wow, I really like that curtain. Now, I've had these curtains for 20-something years, you know. She goes, oh, I really like them curtains. And I said, well, that's really interesting. I'm not thinking she's a werewolf or anything like that. You know, I go, well, that's really interesting because, you know, there's a saying in Norse that a boot shall save the world. You know, not realizing that I'm probably talking to a freaking werewolf, okay? First story out of my mouth, right? Oh my God. So I say, well, here's how the story goes. So the wolf ate my, you know, Odin, my great great grandfather, right back then. And so one of his sons, and so this weird story about Odin is, it's such a weird story, right? Like Odin apparently has a wife and has one child named Balder, who's like Christ. You know, he's pure, holy, good, all that kind of stuff, right? Which is actually murdered by Loki, who's like Lucifer, right? In that story. But he has other sons, but they're not from his wife. They're like from like giantesses or whatever, right? So they're different. So I think it's like human with the giant, like, I don't know. So because he has all these other sons, like Thor was from a giant, right? It wasn't from a human wife like he was. Kind of weird story. But anyway, so, but then again, everything is weird in life, right? There's nothing normal. So,
No, not at all.
right. So at this point, one of the sons, after Odin gets killed and after Thor gets murdered by the venom from Leviathan kills Thor, because he kills him. They supposedly kill each other, whatever. After this battle, one of the sons of Odin gets a hold of all this boot leather. Like, so, you know, when you walk on boots, the leather is real tough, right? So they take all this boot leather, and what they do is they stuff it into this wolf's mouth, okay? And he can't bite through it, okay? So this is how they ended up killing him and killing this werewolf, right? This giant wolf. So the saying is, a boot will save the world. So this particular person, like I said, she likes my boots, right? My curtains. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. So then this person gets left with me, and they sit down and they start talking, and it's just got really weird. And she's like, oh, I brought my Bible. And I'm like, okay. And then she's like, oh, but I'm not a Christian.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay. So I'm like thinking, oh, I'm not a Christian, like that. And I'm like, oh. So I'm thinking to myself, shit, I have been set up. Okay, I've been set up. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So, but anyway, so this person says to me, oh, Lord, she said, I'm not a Christian. I said, well, I go, oh, so you're in a like dark cave, right? You're in a dark cave. She goes, yeah, I'm in like a dark cave. Like, she goes, I'm kind of dark. And yeah, and it's getting like creepier. She goes, I'm kind of dark. And she goes, you know, I kind of like goth and black fingernails and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, I'm thinking, shit. I got to change the subject. This is a witch, right? That's what I'm thinking at the time, a witch, right? Because, like, really, it's not a witch. It's more like a vampire, or like, more like a werewolf, okay? You know, but hey, when you're dealing with a monster, how do you know which monster you're dealing with, okay? When you're looking at the human, right? Right, Chad?
Right.
I mean, a monster is a monster, right? I mean, so... So I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, you know, I got to, you know, change the subject now because we're going to the dark cave, and, you know, it's just, don't want to go there, right? So I said, oh, by the way, how did you meet so-and-so, you know? Oh, she's like, I met her on Instagram. She goes, let me show you what I posted. So she pulls out her phone and she shows me a picture of Loki's daughter, Helen. okay, who's known as Death, right? She's half rotting corpse and half beautiful, and so on her Instagram, this is her picture, and she says, what I posted that day was, if I had to wear a mask and go out in public every day, this is what I would be. And I'm like, shit, she's saying she would be Loki, one of Loki's daughters, the queen of hell, okay? And then this person brought this into my house, and I'm like, what the hell? You know, and then, so at that point, I'm like, okay, fine. I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to get through this situation? And she's like, well, I'm going to go back over and, and then we're going to go get something to eat in a little bit. I said, all right. So a little bit later goes by. I go pick her up at the house with the other person. We go into town, get something to eat. And on the way into town, I'm not saying nothing because I'm a little freaked out. So I'm kind of keeping quiet, because I don't know what the hell is going on, but I just know something's going on. Something's brewing, and I don't know what it is, but I know it's not good. And as we're going into town, there's this huge car wreck, and apparently we passed it, or actually we went down this down the highway, and on the way back home, this one particular spot, there was a car wreck and somebody died there. Okay, so I thought, and it was such a weird event that took place, and I'm like, I just want to go home and lock my door. Okay, so I get home, and that's when I call Brenda, and I'm like, oh my God, Brenda. Yeah, Brenda, you laughing now, but it was not funny back then. Right? I'm like, I'm locking my damn door. And, I look and I said, it's got to be a satanic night. And it was a full moon. It was what they call a strawberry moon that night. Right. And I thought, and what the plan was, according to that other person, was, look, Susie, I want you to take this person out in your woods in the morning, and I want you to show them your woods out there in the morning. Yeah,
for my dead body.
And reading about Benjamin, the werewolf in the Bible, who kills his prey in the morning. It says kills after a full moon. And I'm like, oh, well, hell no, it's a strawberry moon, and they want me to go out in the woods with this boot lady,
that boot lady. That was after I ended up in the hospital, because she invited her out there not that soon after I was there that weekend. I think that was payback for me being there that weekend and drawing out all her little demons.
Oh my God. I was like, I stayed up all night and did my research, and this person had like 6 aliases, had all these different names, and she was a witch in Arkansas. Yeah. And she supposedly was from another city, but I found her, and oh yeah. And I'm like, shit, and I said, I called, who, and I said, look, I've been up all night researching. Didn't say what I was researching, but I've been up all night researching, and I'm going to be sleeping for the day. And I locked my damn door, and I said, you're going to have to take care of that guest. I never came out of the house till she was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that werewolf wanted, if that was a werewolf, I was fixing to be dinner, I think, I'm just saying,
I think she was more of a witch. I think that she was probably practicing with your little old neighbor over there. And that
should have been a witch werewolf. Because there are witch werewolves, and then there's the triad, which is the witch werewolf amp.
So, and let me tell you what happened the other day.
According to lore, I don't know.
Okay, now this, I'm still a little freaked out about this. This is why I was searching the garments and stuff, because I go to help somebody, a friend of mine. Okay, their goats were getting out, and so me and my son went over there to help fix their fence. And I got out of my vehicle, left Joel in the truck, and I went in and it's out in the country, and there's like, it's on her property, and there's nobody there, but I see a van sitting in the parking lot in front of her place, and I don't think anything of it because I thought it was just an empty van, just sitting over there. Anyway, and I go in the building to go use the bathroom, and I'm walking around. I come out and I go look at the horse barn, and I come out and I see that the van had moved, as I didn't realize that there was somebody in the van. So this is like 2 days ago. So I'm walking past the, from the barn over past the van. I look over and I noticed somebody in the van, and it's a guy, and he's like doing like this. So, it could have been a cigarette. I don't know, it could have been something else, but he's going like that. And I look, and he sees me, and I see him, and I'm like, shit, I didn't know there was anybody in that van. Well, I look at the woman right beside, the passenger side right beside me. And this woman, she was like wearing a black hoodie. Okay. She had a hoodie, right? And I'm not making this up. Okay. She was wearing a freaking witch's hat, like a witch's hat, like a really pointed, big, and her face was all haggled like a witch. And I said, shit, what is that? I just kept on going. I'm like, am I hallucinating? What the hell? Yeah.
Now, Susie and I have talked about her not going and getting herself into any shit unless she takes me with her. But she just runs upon it no matter where she's at. And I hope you know, Susie, I hope you know, when all this stuff happens and we go out there, we are blessing that property.
Oh my God.
I mean,
so I'm like, okay, God, what is that? She's sitting in a freaking car, and I mean, we're out in the country, and I'm thinking, at the time, I'm thinking, did this guy and that witch, did they just pull in this parking lot and they're just smoking a joint or something because there's nobody out here? But I'm like, what's the chances? I'm walking by and I look, and she didn't want to look at me either. She was like, had her head down like this. I'm like, man, I couldn't sleep for 2 days. I look at, I'm like, it freaked me out because she's wearing a whole, like the hoodie and then the hat and I'm like, what is that? So I'm like, what do you want me to look at, God? So that's when I researched the garments that were made for Adam, and they were made for the dragon, Leviathan, and to give to Adam and Eve, which ended up in Nimrod's hands. Then Esau kills Nimrod and takes these garments back. And so it was like, it made me research why would a witch put on these garments? And so the best I could come up with, guys, was that it represents black magic because it's a black hat. I mean, so I'm sure somebody out there knows more than this than I do, and I would love to know what the hell was this all about. Why was she sitting there? And I just, that just creeped me out. That's all I gotta say. Okay.
This is what interests me. Okay. Have you actually ever pet a snake? Felt a snake? They feel soft. Their scales feel feathery. They're soft. So when people ask me about the skin of the reptilians, I can say to them that they look soft, but nobody really knows what that means. So I say kind of feathery, like a soft feathery.
Quetzalcoatl was a feathered serpent or dragon. Yeah.
Yes. So, they look like they might be scaled, or they have scaled. And there's apparently 1, 2, 3, there's several different types of reptilians, but the one that I seen, the one that I had an encounter with, he had the kind of brownish, greenish brownish face. and his face was kind of like that feathery, smooth look of a reptilian. So, yeah. My mic went low. What the hell? Is it still low?
Guys, I wondered if those garments could give these guys all this power and authority and all this stuff, and these garments that these people wear, whether they're whatever they're doing, could that be like, remember we were talking about, Chad, could it be that in the old carvings on the walls, they're either carrying a little purse or they've got a watch? Could that be a garment that's causing some kind of, like, because they say reptilians are like, look like humans, but they're really not. So could that be the covering that they, because if Adam and Eve have a covering of hair and then it disappears, what is causing that?
Right.
What is causing that? What do you think?
Technology, like you're saying, yeah, either like a ring, a bracelet, or some kind of jewelry, or something that's probably helping to create that illusion. I mean, because like you did say, like they're all kind of carrying that purse around. They don't know what it is. I mean,
Could it be like a holographic, holographic, something causing that? Some type of magical holographic makes them look like human. Because they were saying that the church bells could interrupt their vibration of and then they lose. Then you could see the reptilian. Sometimes when the bells would ring, it would mess up something.
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
I've heard it. I've heard it, but I've never had to experience that part because I can smell them even if they do look like human to me.
And like in the modern werewolf stories, like not modern, but the ones that there are, like they went to the farmer, accused him and his son of being werewolves or whatever, and I think a lot of kids were dying around the area, that sort of thing, and like I said, there were werewolf trials and all that kind of stuff. So his excuse is that he had been given from a stranger a belt, I think a belt and a lotion or something like that. And it's not the first time that story's been told. It's a piece of clothing or something, and I think that's tied to Satan or the devil. Like the devil makes you a deal.
Because in all those books, Chad, it says some kind of garment. It doesn't really say what that garment is, but it just says garment.
There's something around that theme for sure. Yeah.
It's either maybe some type of jewelry. It could be anything. Whatever. But it just references. I just have to probably go back into every book I can find to see what get more specific. Because it does say it was made from the skin of a snake. Okay, Brenda, can you show that video that I sent you? That little TikTok, that last one I sent you.
Hang on a second, let me look. God, if you sent me several of them, I swear.
No, just one.
Just one. Did you want me to say that? Just the one that I sent you? Hang on.
Just one.
One of many.
I know. I'm like, which one of the 30 do you want me to play?
Right.
Okay. Darn it, get up here. Come on.
The skin stripped from the serpent. I don't even remember reading this one before. I'm sure I read it before. I just remember. We're talking about the skin, right? How again, some Christians believe that this skin was, the sacrificed animal that covered their sin, which again, I don't necessarily buy that argument. He made clothes for them out of the skin stripped from the serpent. I don't even remember reading this one before.
That was a rerun. I mean, a replay.
So that was just a little thing, talking about what these garments were made from. This, and then in the legend of the Jews, that serpent was Leviathan, the dragon.
Okay.
So it gets a little more specific as far as naming it. Where did Chad go?
I don't know, but hang on a second because I'm
There you are, Chad.
Stretching my legs. They get really restless sometimes because of one reason or another, and so I've been trying to stretch them and keep them still.
So do you think, okay, what came to my mind just now was the phrase, the words that they used, the serpent was more subtle than any other creature of the field. Like maybe that has something to do about this. And you know, in the book of Lamech, they worship Leviathan. Remember that? The dragon?
Yeah.
They were worshiping Lamech was Cain's father, right? Or no, I mean Cain's son, right? Lamech. It's hard to keep up with the whole genealogy of all these people. Okay,
I can.
I have a hard enough keeping up mine.
Yeah, I can keep up with mine. I just know that my father was a little whore that liked to spread his seed everywhere for good reasons.
Oh God, Brenda, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Lamech.
That's what he did. That's the way it was supposed to be, apparently. Okay, do you want to watch some more of that? Oh, yeah, you're right, Randy. That's
okay. So Lamech was the son of Methuselah. Okay, the father of Jubal and Tubal-Cain and of Naamah. Naamah was a daughter of Cain, and this is weird because Naamah is the daughter of Cain, and Naamah marries Noah, and she's a cursed Canaanite, right? And so she marries a Sethian. So the Sethians were all intermarrying each other. They're all related, you know. There wasn't a separate line. Like, so people say, "Oh, Jesus came from this line." Oh, they were all from the, you know, they were all from the same line, all of them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
There wasn't a good line, people. It was just, it was all messed up.
I honestly think that we are all linked together somehow, from bloodlines to relatives to, we know you and I are.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you sit and you do your genealogy and you sit and figure it out, you know. I mean, I go back to like Abraham Lincoln, and then I don't even know where it goes from there. So,
no,
who knows?
It goes all the way back to these giant Nephilims. Okay, just saying.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to get on my daughter because, like, you know, I'm going to be 58 in January, and I have never had a problem with any gray hair. Look at this. This is my daughter right here. See this? See this? Look at that. Wisdom, my dear, wisdom. Do you want to watch some more of that other video? We've got about,
yeah, Chad, you got another video Chad sent? Yeah, let's watch it.
I've got it still up here. We got more.
You might want to fast forward. I think the next lady says she doesn't have a story, but it's her channel. The next gentleman seemed kind of like, I don't know what he was doing, but it seemed like I don't know if there's something more bubbly after him. But
oh, do I have to float through these? I mean, I can float through them if I need to. Hang on a second. Let's see. Go ahead, girl.
Haven't seen him since. I don't even know if anybody would remember him if I brought him up.
All right, we got you.
But that's my vampire story.
That's her story, and she's sticking to it.
That's it.
Now, you may not believe it, but the myth of vampires in New Orleans is deeply rooted in its history and cultural lore. One of the most famous figures in New Orleans vampire lore is the Count Saint-Germain, the infamous Count Saint-Germain. Now, why do I say that? He's known as the man who does not die and who knows everything. People have been seeing this man roaming the French Quarter since the 18th century. New Orleans has long been associated with tales of the undead, and the myth of vampires continues to captivate locals and visitors alike. Now, this could be just adding to the aura and mystery of intrigue around New Orleans, but me personally, I choose to believe it. If you have a,
you know, somebody had asked why they prefer to live in New Orleans. Well, what other place to go where people aren't going to ask you questions. There are other weird people there, so nobody's going to think anything. And they celebrate the dead.
And there's a lot of voodoo and hoodoo down there too.
Yep.
Yes. I've been to New Orleans a few times, and there's quite a few voodoo stores all up and down all over the French Quarter. Yeah.
Yeah, the French Quarter. I have family down there, so I've been down there.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking that I'm not to like, you know, there's, you know, the movie The Matrix and everything, right? But Tom, who talks about, you know, a script that he wrote, he named it The Immortals. Well, really, what all a vampire is an immortal.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's really a movie called The Immortals should be about what we're talking about. You know, did any of y'all see that movie, the newer version of Dracula? Where I mean, it's so true to the real story. Like at the end of the story, the original like vampire shows up way in the future and says, "Let the games begin." You know, like I mean, he's like the wanderer on. Yeah.
Didn't Trump just say that? Trump just said that.
Well, that's what I just. Yeah. He's quoting the vampire.
I can tell you a story of him and, as I told you earlier, he's for real. Oh, she's talking to, Randy's talking about the guy that he met in New Orleans that said he was a vampire and he was 400 years old. I'm telling you, Randy, you're gonna have to come on a show with us one night. Because we'll do this.
He said what? What did he say?
He met a guy in New Orleans who said he was a vampire and he was 400 years old.
400. So he's a newer version. He's like generationally.
Oh, he's young.
He's a young vampire.
At 400 years old, he's young. Well, there you go.
400 years young.
400 years young.
I'll be there. I'm so ornery. I'm not going anywhere. As much crap as I've gone through.
Because Cain would be what, about 6,000 years old right now, walking around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do if I ran into somebody and found out he was 6,000 years old. I'd be like, dude.
Well, and you know, here's the thing. There have been lots of reports of people who claim that they've met Cain. I don't know. Have you heard that too, Chad?
Stories of people meeting Cain?
Yeah. Have you heard reports of people claiming that they met Cain? You know, that he's wandering the earth and they've actually met him and talked with him?
Well, Randy said that's when he met, jumped from roof to roof.
And, you know,
I would vote.
I know there's a lot of claims of people who tell me that they've met Odin. You know, Odin is still here and waiting for the return of Jesus. I mean, Odin, that's what he tells these people, that he is waiting for Jesus' return and waiting for, you know, this final spiritual battle. So, I mean, there's some weird stuff in this world, people.
So, what do you guys think? I think one night we should bring Randy on here and he can tell us his things about vampire and about the research that he does and the stuff with the Bigfoots and stuff. I think that would be
and the dog man.
Yeah.
So this person he met, 400-year-old guy, was jumping from a roof to roof.
Yeah.
See, because that's one of those abilities, huh, Chad? Was vampires have ability to, like, super speed, move very quickly, and they're super strong. You know, they have like these heightened abilities, right? They can hear really well, right? This is what they say, right? Vampires can hear. They can hear your heartbeat like across the room or something too, right?
Well, I can.
And with werewolves, they can smell you from a long way. So once you're in there, like once they have you tracked or whatever, or once you're in there, once they're aware of you, good luck.
Yeah, but I think that modern day ones, like vampires, like modern day today vampires.
They're all different, Brenda. They're no two the same. You know, they all have their own personalities.
Well, that's true. Well, I know I'm not a reptilian because my leg's been gone since 2016 and the damn thing still hasn't grown back yet. So that puts me out the water. So, I even tried, I had Glenn laughing so hard. I said, I put my thumb in my mouth and I plugged my nose and I blew real hard, hoping that my leg would pop out. And all I did was fart. And he said, oh my God, this bitch. I tried. I mean, I seen him do it on cartoons. Just blow it and something pops out. So one of these days I'll grow that thing back. I don't know. Maybe. All right, let's see what else we got here. We got a little bit of time
or a vampire sighting in New Orleans, stitch us and let us know. Because surprisingly, I don't have any vampire stories. I do have these on the long form content place if you would like to support. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hey, fuckers.
Hey.
This video is going to be hard for me to do because it's something that I've held quiet for quite a long time. Because the topic's so crazy, so fucking out there. It's almost unbelievable even for myself, even though I lived it. It's the topic of vampires are fucking real. And, I ran into 6 vampires in Florida in March of 2010 in Hollywood, Florida. And it was at this little hotel in Hollywood. It was at poolside. And yes, they can walk in the light. They were even suntanning. The girls were. There was 2 girls and 4 guys. That makes a total of 6. They were from all over the place. One was from Brazil, but it was hailing out of Canada. One was from Spain. 3 were from Romania, and 1 was from Bulgaria. And they were nice. They weren't there to eat people or shit, but they do eat people, just so you know. I know it's hard to believe, it's crazy, and I swear on my life, and I would pass a lie detector test with the blink of an eye again on this subject. And they showed me their fangs, and their fangs are actually behind their canine teeth right here. They're on the inside. Like double teeth fangs, like of wolves. Yeah, and crazy like that. And it took a while before they came out and said they're vampires. They didn't just say, hey, we're vampires, you know. They were really low-key. And we were having dinner together, and one of them said, you know I'm a vampire, with his accent, because he's from Romania. And from Transylvania, actually. And I was like, really? And he showed me your teeth. I was just fucking with him, you know. I didn't expect him to be a vampire. I thought he was kidding, right? I sure as fucking, on everything that's holy. He was a fucking vampire. And I go, you ain't gonna eat me, are you? You know, I said, bite me, but because then later he told me that they eat people. And he goes, no, he goes, you're cool, man, don't worry about it. And it turns out they're on a mission there from Vlad the Impaler himself, because he's just the head of the vampires. He's still alive all these centuries. It's not a myth. It's a real, you know, the real story of Vlad Tepich. Well, he's the real deal, and he's still alive, and he still lives in Transylvania, and under a different alias. And I guess he's pretty crazy. I guess it would have to be centuries of murder and eating blood and people. And yeah, so I ran into these fucking vampires, and they're actually really cool, really nice, and they like my sense of humor because I was always joking about fucking killing people and shit and making them laugh. And the chicks were really hot. I don't think I'd sleep with a vampire chick, though. I wouldn't trust the bitch. But yeah, so I just kind of wanted to, being that we're on the tales of World War III and we could all die in nukes. I just kind of want to get my story out there that vampires are a real deal. And they said that they own hundreds of islands in about 5 or 6 countries. And they are part of the Franco-Masons, the Freemasons, part of the Franco-Masons out of Sicily.
Oh, Lord.
I wonder what they play in all this part of World War III, how they would react if people were going to nuke people, where their food shortage would stop short. But I guess they have blood banks. That's true, that part's true too. So, I asked them a bunch of questions, but I tried not to pry too deeply because I didn't want to get my ass bit, if you know what I mean.
Eaten or bit.
So, yeah, that's, it's hard to come out with something like this because most people are going to think I'm lying, and I swear to God I'm not. And I was pretty shocked. I mean, I was stunned. I mean, when you hear it and then you ask for proof and you see some shit like that. So I made them all show me their teeth. And they're like, and then
wow.
I saw them back there and I go, bring them down. And they're like, I was like, whoa.
Wow.
It was crazy shit. So, but anyway, I just wanted to share my story with people just to let them know vampires are fucking real. And you never know who's a fucking vampire because they don't have a certain look, you know? But they're all good-looking people, to be honest with you. So.
What did he just say? Because
all
we
right.
all...
Peace out.
Did he just say we, like he's one of them, right? Did you catch that, Chad? You never know a vampire because we all, yeah. Because he got turned, yeah.
You know?
He was awakened. He was awakened, yeah.
And I mean, we don't, on this show, we don't doubt anything that anybody
He
tells
just said,
us. Now, we'll do
he just said
research.
we.
Yeah. We.
Yeah, come on now, dude.
Did he say
you just...
we? Really? Did he say we?
Back there and I go, bring them down. And they're like, I was like, whoa. It was crazy shit. So, but anyway, I just wanted to share my story with people just to let them know vampires are fucking real. And you never know who's a fucking vampire because they don't have a certain look, you know?
Because we don't have a certain look.
People, to be honest with you. So
we don't have a certain...
I couldn't hear it.
I don't hear we either. I don't hear it either.
I couldn't hear it because you guys kept talking.
Okay, go ahead and play it again.
Okay, don't say anything.
Okay.
I mean, I was stunned. I mean, when you hear it and then you ask for proof and you see some shit like that. So I made them all show me their teeth. And they're like, and then I saw them back there and I go, bring them down. And they're like, I was like, whoa. It was crazy shit. So, but anyway, I just wanted to share my story with people just to let them know vampires are fucking real. And you never know who's a fucking vampire because they don't have a certain look, you know? But they're all good looking people.
Because we don't have a certain look. We don't have.
He said they.
I heard we.
No,
I heard we.
He said they many times.
Know who they are. They all have.
No, I heard we every time. I never heard it's we.
You better turn up your thing because I played.
No, I heard it. I heard it. And you know what? He's wearing the same damn hoodie that witch was wearing. Although he's missing the damn hat. Yeah.
Chad, can you? Can you?
What did you hear?
For a minute while I play this because it was feedbacking on your computer. So
Chad, what did you hear? Did you hear we?
You
that
could
we have a certain look
on because the captions will tell you if there's captions on there.
Do you have a caption?
It says they like, and then I saw him.
And I go, bring them down. And they're like, I was like, whoa. It was crazy shit. So, but anyway, I just wanted to share my story with people just to let them know vampires are fucking real. And you never know who's a fucking vampire because they don't have a certain look, you know? But they're all good looking people, to be honest with you. So.
He said they.
That says they, but I heard him say we. Maybe I'm hearing something that y'all aren't hearing because I'm picking up on something because I think he's a vampire.
I'm good. I heard they too. So okay.
Yeah.
On to the next. What time is it?
Oh my gosh! Isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Pack your appetite and feed your taste for adventure with
Commercials.
Schlotsky's new Greek
I
Trio.
hate you commercials.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far.
Friday, our babysitter Maria was over. She was a teenager, like probably like 16, 17 at the time, and my little sister was about 2. We lived in a split level, so my sister and Maria are like downstairs and I'm in the kitchen. I was looking out the back window, honestly probably waiting for our little neighbor boy to come outside because I had a crush on him and I was always like running outside whenever I saw he would come out. But in our backyard, there was an apple tree, there was a lake, and then there was a fence separating our yard from the neighbor boy's house. It's dusk. The sun is like pretty much set. And I see a black panther jump over the fence and come down, stand underneath the apple tree. It was so tall that its shoulders almost came up to the first set of branches. Jet black, black fur. And we had a house cat, so I know what the house cat size is in relation to this thing. This thing was easily 6 or 7 times the size of our cat. So I start calling for Maria, like yelling at her to come up to the kitchen to see this black panther in our backyard. She was taking her time. My sister was crying and she was tending to her. I'm standing there mesmerized by this black panther, and it turns and it looks at me and it makes eye contact. And on its head, this thing was jet black, but on its head, it had a little patch of white fur just going right like this. And we just stare at each other for a good 5 seconds or so. I hear Maria stirring. She's coming into the kitchen, and as she's walking into the kitchen, the panther runs into the lake. I was like, there was a panther in our backyard. Maria's like, it was just a house cat. I'm like, no, it was a panther. Fast forward to later on that night, my parents still aren't home. I'm in bed. I hear our doorbell. It's probably close to like 11 o'clock because my parents were still out. They usually came home around like 1 in the morning. So naturally I hear the doorbell ring. I get out of bed. I go to the top of the stairs and I see Maria answering the door. And I'm like creeping on the stairs, and she lets this man in, and he's wearing all black. He was like very pale. And I hear him tell her basically that he was a traveler who like lost his way and he needed to use our phone. It was the 90s, so people didn't have like cell phones easily accessible, so he just wanted to use like our landline. So Maria lets him in. He's using the phone. It's very muffled. I can't hear what he's saying. I like remember the conversation, but I don't. That's where mine and this girl's stories are similar. So after he makes his phone call, he's like turning to leave. He walks past the stairs. He looks up at me because I'm still sitting at the top of it, and I see on his head he has a little patch of white hair in the same spot that the panther had. And he looks at Maria and he goes, "Thank you for your help. It's really easy to get lost in the shadows." And he leaves. Now this man shook me. Like I could not sleep that night. So when my parents got home, I was still awake in bed. I ran downstairs. I told them all about the panther. They chalked it up to an overactive imagination. And they were like, it was just a house cat. Like you're just letting your imagination get the best of you. And I told them about the man. They were pissed. They were fuming. They fired Maria for letting a strange man into our house, as they should have. But yeah, I don't know. I've looked into it. There have been tons of Black Panther sightings all over Illinois, close to Chicago. And yet the Department of Natural Resources maintains that there are no Black Panthers in Illinois. So yeah, stitch this or let me know in the comments your story, because I know I'm not the only one.
We have them here, apparently.
When was the last time you fed?
I prefer a nice liver, but I may change my mind at any time. You look very tasty, but I think I like you.
Gotta be a joke.
Oh, God.
My friend.
That was, okay. That was cheesy. I don't know any vampire that would go hee hee hee.
Yeah.
That was cheesy.
We are the first species.
Pay attention, people. Pay attention.
To be aware of evolution, to be aware that we are affecting our own evolution by everything that we do. The babies we eat, the food we eat, the wars
The
we
babies
fight.
we eat. Yeah,
We are the
I've heard that one.
The babies we eat.
Yeah, I heard that one too.
Look at here.
No, I don't know. You know what? I'm sitting here going, I heard we, y'all heard they.
It said
So
they on the captions.
I know, but I still heard we. So am I hearing something that y'all aren't hearing? I'm just saying, because
I don't know.
that's what I hear.
Okay.
Got me baffled.
See what else.
This mysterious CCTV clip was shared on social media in 2014. Taken from security footage in a shoe store, everything seems normal, till a mysterious man, dressed in black, walks toward the exit, but as he passes the mirror, he has no reflection.
Oh, that's a weird
Is
one.
this
I've
just
seen
an
that.
elaborate hoax? Or are we seeing a vampire?
Now they say, what is it, Chad? I think there's some vampires that have no reflection, and then some do. I think I've heard.
Yeah, I don't
Do you
know
know?
about the ones that do. I only know about the ones that don't. Yeah.
Okay.
Weird. Wait, Randall, are you still in here? Do modern day vampires cast
I know what it is.
reflection?
It's the type of mirrors. If it's like a certain mirror, certain type of mirror, the way it's made. When a vampire goes by, there's no reflection of it. And then some of the other type of mirrors, that's what I've heard about the mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what's interesting? I saw on a
Yes.
I saw something interesting on a video with Red Mercury.
Okay, we're gonna get through this. We are 17 minutes over. 17?
I don't know if you want to watch the
Seeing
whole.
all these videos about vampires in Chicago, and it literally brought up.
Wait, now there's vampires in Chicago? I think that's called the mob, lady. For sure.
This kind of repressed memory
They're everywhere.
that I have, not about vampires in Chicago, but about what this psychic medium told me when I was like 16 or something like that. So I'm from Chicago, but I visited Sedona, Arizona when I was in high school. I think I was like 16 years old. And if you know that Sedona is known for like, it's like spirituality and being like very high in energy. Like a lot of people go there to get married. It's where like the Red Rocks are.
Oh, guess what? I can hear the music in the background. So we're done with that. I'm probably going to get a nasty letter from YouTube.
All the ones that have the music playing,
I didn't realize it until I sat there and heard it, and I was like, "Oh, I know this song."
Right?
And I was like, "Wait a minute,
Song!
Play that!
They're gonna get us!" Oh no!
I'll get another notice from them. You have another warning for copyright. God, I hate YouTube.
So what is your take on everything, Chad, of all the research that you've been doing on all this stuff?
Well, I think that there were these originals that we were talking about, that came from the gods or the angels or from curses. I mean, and then like a bloodline, you get the one that's the part of it that's protected, and then you get the then you get all you get everything else that's out there. And so maybe in our DNA and in our genome, in our makeup or whatever, our DNA, RNA, that there's traits of this stuff, like vampirism maybe, or wolf, because it seems like people, you do see them. They are born with giantism or with hairyism, they get all the hair all over their bodies. And vampirism too, where they need blood, isn't it? And they're sensitive to the sunlight, but it's actually like a disease. I mean, it's actually something they, or something that, maybe genetic or something like that. I'm thinking, and so I wonder.
But if a vampire, here's my thought on the vampires, they have to actually be turned, to become a vampire. So, but like Enoch, well, I mean, I'm just saying though, like, Cain had to become a vampire. Lilith had to become a vampire. Enoch had to become one. But like Esau was born a hairy man, and then also Benjamin was born a wolf. That was the prophecy about him. He was born. So they were like, there's ones that are born that way, and then ones that become like, it said Nimrod became a mighty man after he put on those garments. So I think, there's the one, the ones where they are already at birth, and then the ones that become after birth. You know what I mean? From what I could
want to show
tell.
you guys something off the track here, and I want to see if anybody notices this. I want you to tell me what is wrong, because if you don't know, I will tell you. What is wrong with Dick Cheney's casket?
Yeah.
Tell me what's wrong with it.
Wrinkled.
It's wrinkled.
Yeah, wrinkled.
It's not an American flag.
No.
You know what it means when
it's.
You know what it means when it's wrinkled, right?
Yeah, I forgot though.
Traitor, treason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job, Dick Cheney. Good job, Dick Cheney. God.
So
the vampires.
So Chad, with the vampire thing, it seems like they all have to like have their awakening or have their initiation by drinking the blood of another vampire in order to become one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then after they become a vampire, they cannot have children. Because the first story about the first two people that Cain turned was a husband. It was a husband and wife, and they were in love. The story goes that they were in love. So he turned them, and then they found out they couldn't have children, so they went out into the sun or something, and they killed themselves because they could live forever, but they could never have kids, so they killed themselves. So according to that, the vampires cannot give birth.
But
Isn't that what Hollywood is? They can't have, a lot of these people can't have children.
Yeah, but they can adopt.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but the werewolves can have children, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So you know what? There might have been just. I wonder if there's a little bit of that in all of
out there somewhere.
Huh?
I said Randy probably has some puppies running around out there. Randy.
What were you saying, Chad?
There's like dormant genes in us all with some of this monsterism in there. I don't know, mixed, because I know the SSP community claims that the MKU programs and all that kind of stuff that takes place underneath is, there's times where they're playing you pictures of wolves or, films of wolves or people transforming into wolves, just installing it in your minds from infanthood or something like that, or snakes. I think that's the two programs. One is snakes and one is wolves, to get them to be able to, shapeshift into these animals.
Well, I'm not gonna say on the show, but I am gonna say I know that you personally know somebody who is a vampire, and I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Yeah. Hands down, vampire. Yeah, and hands down.
Well, you guys.
On that note,
it is Friday. Brenda's coming down with a cold. I need to get over it because Glenn will come to my house and choke me if I don't show up on Monday. I really think I'm coming down with something. I thought it was just my allergies yesterday, but no, I'm feeling hot. I'm burning up actually.
Yeah.
But
and Brenda, there's a equine herpes out on the horse industry, and the horse industry is shut down completely because there's an outbreak of herpes killing horses right now.
And like I said, I still would like to know how horses get herpes. What happened was some human had a
it's not that kind of herpes,
and they kissed the horse, and the horse got herpes.
But it's not like a human's herpes because this is a neurological.
I'm just poking fun.
Lung. Yeah, it's like they get fever, and then it can become neurological where their back ends go out or they just collapse and die, and within 2 weeks they either get over it or they die. And it started at a barrel racing in Waco, and there's about 20 horses right now that are dead, and now every horse show, everything out there has canceled all the rodeos. There's no horses are not being transported. They're being everybody's quarantining. They've shut down everything for the next couple of weeks, at least until they find out. Because some of these horses have went to Oklahoma, but mostly it's in Texas right now.
Yeah, you shut down your arena. No riders. Nobody.
Oh, we
bringing
don't.
horses
Yeah, I haven't
over.
been anywhere in a while, so I'm good. My horses haven't been exposed to it.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Don't bring other people over there with their
No,
horses.
none of us horse people are doing any. None of us. We're all staying home with our horses, and they've canceled every horse thing in Texas and everywhere else, and even the horse transporters, the farriers, everybody. Nobody's doing anything.
Right. Yeah, because you got Boo Boo Horse already, and you don't need him getting anything. And little ass that you have there, he doesn't need to get sick either because he's kind of old, so he's getting up there.
I call him Little Fart Man. He's a little miniature that thinks he's the boss. Yeah.
Yep, he's the boss.
But
all right, everybody, well, we're going to get out of here so I can do my uploads and downloads, and then we can all, if I feel like it, if I'm not laying down passed out in my bed, I'm going to go and invade Abe's show.
Although, Brenda, everybody is calling this horsey COVID right now. I'm serious.
Horsey COVID? No.
Yeah, that's what they're calling it. Yeah.
Say that.
Horsey COVID, not human. Horsey.
The CDC will turn it into people human.
No.
People COVID we caught from a horse. Don't.
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke.
I know. It's like anytime anybody says something, they pick it up and they're like, "Woo!"
It's for entertainment purposes only, Brenda.
Randy, horses have long faces anyways. It's silly.
They got people putting masks. They got people putting masks on their horses right now. Like on the internet.
Susie's got. Oh my God. Susie's got like what? What do you got now? 22 dogs. How many horses you got?
About 30.
30 horses.
Wow.
And how many cows?
38, 39, I think.
Okay, yeah.
I think
I running out there having a good time.
Yeah. And one cat, one kitty,
and one
Tom.
cat,
one Tom.
One Tom.
One Tom.
He's a good cat. Siamese. He's a good cat.
Anytime Jack tells me I have too many animals, I tell him, "Look, I only got 2 dogs and a cat. Can you imagine if I was Susie?"
Right. You should see the dog food I go through. Shit.
Right. And
I go through about 50 pounds a day. That's of dog food. Yeah. It's not too bad.
I go through a 50-pound bag every 2 months.
Yeah. I go through that in a day. Yeah.
And my dogs don't. I've had to pull no free feeding in my house. The cat's the only one that does that because Tucker looked like a barrel with little legs. So he had to go on a diet. And when Putin came down with pancreatitis, I've cut his food back too now. So he's got to get some of his weight off because I let him get to be a little chunk monk. And so, yeah.
Oh, well, Brenda, what we do is we take a 50-pound bag and we cut a square on it. We set it on the porch. And so the dogs are free to eat anytime they want, day or night. And that's how we feed our dogs. So we just keep we buy a bunch of bags at one time and then set them on the porch. And then, we don't have to feed them individually. They just eat when they want and how much ever they want. Been doing that for years and years and years. Yeah. Works pretty good.
I'd hate that because then if they all start fighting with each other, I got to go out there and take the broom, start swinging.
Yeah, they do pretty good because they're used to it, so
yeah,
they know how to deal with it.
That's true. All right, guys, we are done for the night. Randy, I'm going to message you about doing a show next week, and we are going to call it a night. I hope you guys enjoyed. And like always, everybody, please be kind to one another. And you guys have a good rest of the weekend. Good night.